Shalom. I wanted to share illustrations of how the Catholic Church, the Vatican, depicted Japhet, Ham, and Shem, also Esau, in their new translated Bible. This Bible was published in 1970, and here it's translated from the original languages with critical use of all the ancient sources by members of the Catholic Biblical Association of America. So we know that they took the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha, and they translated to their versions, and they have manipulated verses, taken out verses, or what have you. But I want to show you illustrations and explanations of Japhet, Ham, Shem, and our wicked twin brother Esau, Isaac's twin sons, Jacob. But specifically, I want to show you how they depicted Esau. So we're going to start here. Again, published 1970. Here's the decree from the Pope, from the Vatican. Okay. And I'll read the first two paragraphs. For the faithful in all English-speaking countries, the publication of the new American Bible represents a notable achievement. Its pages contain a new Catholic version of the Bible in English, along with illustrations and explanations that facilitate the understanding of the text. Again, I want to focus on illustrations and their explanations that facilitate the understanding that they wanted people to get from their New Translation Bible. Second paragraph. For more than a quarter of a century, members of the Catholic Biblical Association of America, sponsored by the Bishops' Committee of the Confraternity of Christian Doctrine, have labored to create this new translation of the scriptures from the original languages or from the oldest extant form in which the text exists. So again, they took the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha and they translated it into what they wanted. Okay, the third paragraph. I'm starting here. In so doing, the translators have carried out the directive of our predecessor, Pius XII. Okay? So, again, from the Vatican. So, let's get into Genesis. That's where I want to go. But before we get there, I do want to show you the Old Testament. They did include 1970. They did have the Apocrypha. You can see Maccabees there. You can see Sirach there. Okay. So I do want to show you that they have the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament. Okay, we're going to go to Genesis chapter 10. Let's start there. And let's see. Their illustrations. Okay. I'm on page 10. And we're going to start here at chapter 10. Okay. These are the descendants of Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japhet, to whom sons were born after the flood. Okay. The descendants of Japhet, Gomer, Magog. Let's drop down here to verse 4. The descendants of Javan. I want to specifically focus on Kittim, because we know the Romans, the Latins, the Grecians came from this son, Javan and Kittim. Okay? These are the descendants of Japhet, and from them sprang maritime nations in their respective lands. Okay, again, I'm on page 10. Now, moving over to page 11, what are the illustrations? How do they depict Japhet? Who does that look like today? That looks like the white man, the Roman, who conquered us in 70 AD, who surrounded Jerusalem with the help of our wicked brother Esau. Okay? Now let's look here. We're going to look. Thus it appears that the sons of Japhet dwelt principally in the countries to the north of Palestine, on the Mediterranean islands and coast. See the map shown on page 13. So here we are, page 11. I'm going to flip the page. Now, before I flip the page, let's go back over here, and I want you to see Gomor, because this name is going to be on that map. And it said they dwell in the north. So I'm flipping the page, and we're on page 13. Let's take a look at this map. Now we know that the descendants of Ham dwelt here. Okay? We know the descendants of Shem dwelt in Canaan. Can we see Canaan right there? And it says the descendants of Japhet dwelt in the north, Gomor. All this area here. When we talk about Russia and all those different places, and we have folks talk about the Caucasus Mountains of Russia and all that. That's in the north. Okay? So let's move to page 12. Okay? And let's look here. We're still in chapter 10 and verse 8. Well, verse 7. The descendants, well, we're going to start at verse 6. The descendants of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, Canaan. Okay? Let's move up and see the depiction of Ham's descendants. Who do they look like? This is the illustrations of the Vatican, the Roman Church, the Catholic Church, the descendants of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Okay? So, here we are, page 13. I'm flipping the page. Now I'm on page 14. And I want to move up here. The descendants of Shem. Okay? How are they depicting the descendants of Shem? Page 14. The descendants of Shem, Elam, Asher. What do we see there? Who does that look like? That looks like us. Shem, the ancestors of all the children of Eber, was the ancestor of the Hebrews. We are the Hebrews. Okay? Again, we're on page 14, moving to page 15, and let's go to Genesis chapter 27, where Isaac gave some specific instructions to his son before he died. Chapter 27, here we are. When Isaac was so old that his eyesight had failed him, he called his older son Esau and said to him, "Son, Yes, Father, he replied. Isaac then said, as you can see, I am old, that I may now die at any time. Take your gear, therefore your quiver and bow, and go out into the country to hunt some game for me. With your catch, prepare an appetizing dish for me, such as like, and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you a special blessing before I die. Well, we know that special blessing went to Jacob, the younger son, us. Okay. Now let's see the illustration and the depiction that the Vatican, the Roman Catholics, give of Esau with his gear going out to hunt for the father. What kind of hair do they have? They have twists, braids, woolly hair, and they have the ruddy red complexion, the same complexion that David had, black men. Okay? And as you can see here, it says, take your gear, therefore, your quiver and bow, and go out into the country to hunt some game for me. Genesis 27:3. And here's the depiction, illustration that the Roman Catholic Church has given with a directive from the Vatican.